Right now we're just below the top of Dôme de Gautier. It's the last pre-summit of Mont Blanc. And this is a big day for us. Mont Blanc.
Being here in Chamonix today, I look back at the time when I was a child, learning the basics of skiing at Squaw Valley. I immediately became intrigued by the mountains and realized that I would dedicate my life to pursuits within them. In the last 2 decades of my life in mountain sports, I've developed a clear understanding of how crucial it is to make smart choices. I've seen good decisions and bad. I've seen death and I've seen glory.
Yeah, JT!
In 2010, I partnered with the High Fives Foundation. We created the Basics program, dedicated to helping young athletes be aware and safe in critical situations. Through on-snow camps, educational documentaries, and school presentations, Basics helps young athletes make educated choices.
I could black out, nowhere but here. All I see is you, or who you used to be. Can't blank it out, wish I could black out. Wish I could black it out.
Basin, which you guys have skied, West Base. My name's John Rockwood, and I'm the head coach of the Snow Rangers program through the Sugar Bowl Academy. The Snow Rangers program is a youth backcountry skiing program, and the primary goal is to teach safe backcountry travel to kids who are 12 to 18 years old. Showing the kids why certain things are the way they are, and really bringing that awareness of mountain sense to a new level is what we're all about. At some point, this 12-year-old is going to go to college, and they're going to go on a ski trip, and their friends are going to look to them to make decisions. And so if we can give the foundation for the decision-making now, you're creating safer skiers, safer groups, a safer community of backcountry skiers for like years. What we're doing is non-competitive, so how do you gauge success? You know, I think it's overcoming challenges through weather, challenging skin tracks, navigating dangerous terrain safely. That is success. And if we link 10 smooth turns in powder and get the high five at the bottom of those 10 turns, like, kids are stoked, you know, and a podium isn't even involved.
Growing up as a kid in organized sports and skiing, coaches have always been a huge part of my life. That's the reason why I coach and give back to all these programs, is because kids need a positive influence in their lives.
Coaches and I are here to approach some landings for you to make sure everything's safe.
My ultimate goal as a coach is to ensure good decision making for these kids. One of the best decisions kids can make these days is to use their protective gear. It's there for a reason. When you go on the hill, wear your helmet, wear protective gear, wear your spine protectors, anything to limit risk to injury.
Right now we're taking a look at some of these features, make sure we're hitting them safely for the next run.
It fills me with joy to watch these kids, you know, improve every single day. And that's ultimately what we're out here to do, is put a smile on everyone's face, go home to tell about it every day, and make sure you're out there having fun and enjoying the sport that we all love.
Nice, Jacob. That was sweet.
It's easy to see why kids are drawn to the park and the pipe these days on free skis or snowboards. Airtime, style, self-expression, doing difficult things and making them look easy.
Yeah, right now I'm working on a frontside double cork 1260. I learned the 1080 last year and I got that one dialed, so now it's time to take it to that next step and rotate it more.
I think the key to longevity for an athlete coming up and wanting to express themselves in action sports is to really take a one-step-at-a-time approach. Obviously, having a coach or a mentor helping them is a great thing, because when you're 12 or 14 years old, you may not be making great decisions. Ready to get that thing, man? For sure. You're never going to miss out on the latest development from yourself by evaluating the risks, the situation, the quality of the pipe or the jumps, and measuring it against your own ability. All right, let's land this thing, dude. Right now, right here, right now. Let's do it. You know, I absolutely think that the best athletes do make the best choices. No one gets to a high level in their sport by making bad decisions. Good athletes, and especially the greatest athletes, kind of hang back a lot of times and see what's going on. They evaluate the wind and they watch other people hit the jump or ride the pipe. They're not the first people to go in there and take the chance. They kind of hang back and evaluate the situation very methodically. So the choices that those athletes make have definitely contributed to not only their dominance, but their longevity.
For grooming last night, pretty standard plan. Snowball over snowball, spring fling, spring road, racer's edge. No cat's meow. Downspout, lower downspout, domino shoot, lower jester, lower grinder, birdland, no bird.
My name's Alex Deese. I'm a ski patroller here at Sugarbush. My job here is jack of all trades, mostly first aid, safety mitigation. Stuff we're marking every day. Holes in the snow above stream beds, pungees, which are pieces of wood sticking out of the snow that you can catch a ski on. Try not to mark rocks if they're visible. Try not to mark anything that you can see, but we do want to create a safe skiing environment for the public.
Now, aside from trees, there are these very large metal things that are man-made obstacles. These towers, posts. These are things that, in the course of doing our work here, we have to put up, but they do comprise another obstacle. And it's very important to be aware that these things are out there and don't feel so good when you hit them.
Beautiful.
Nothing over there is groomed, so give them a little heads up so they can make a good choice. You know, obviously people may or may not read the sign, but you do your best to at least give them as much information as you can, so once again they have the ability to make a choice about how they're going to approach this section of trail.
Preventing somebody from going into a dangerous area or an area that maybe there's exposed rock or there's a cliff, I mean, that's a big part of our job as well. The hill safety aspect of ski patrol is easily over half of what we do every day, and that might be you know, marking a hazard or designating where a cliff might be, or putting up a rope line to say, hey, this drops off really severely right here. And it's really important to have those hazard markings and warnings ahead of time to let them know that, hey, something's coming up, the terrain's changing, and pay attention.
So my name is Dan Cole. I'm a physician assistant in Truckee, California. I'm the director of orthopedics and sports medicine for the clinical operations at Tahoe Forest Hospital District. It's really common for folks to think of snow sports as just another recreational activity in a controlled environment, when the reality is there's lots of variables. One of the most important choices athletes can make is being aware not only of their environment where they're riding, but also of themselves physically. It's very important for athletes to warm up, prepare themselves, condition themselves through the day, and also be aware of their environment. Those two things in combination will set themselves up for success.
So this used to be just all sand, like what you see over there, and there was this little swing. And so when he was maybe a year old, we used to bring him here to swing. And so it's a really sentimental place for us. It was actually the first weekend of ski team. He was riding a ski lift with two other skiers on the team, both other 7-year-olds. The coach was with some of the other kids, but these 3 kids went up the lift on their own. We're pretty sure the bar was never placed down, and the boys couldn't put it down because they're so small. And somehow, and I don't know how, we still don't know how, but John fell out of that chair at the 3rd tower.
You know, I got a call on my phone to come and meet him that something had happened. I think it was very vague, but I could just tell by the tone how serious it was.
You know, he fell into a spot that there wasn't much coverage. It was a very dry year. It was the beginning of the current drought, and he probably hit his head. And he was evacuated, immediately by ski patrol. And
John was in an ambulance in the parking lot, and they wouldn't let me go in to talk to him, and had just told me that he fell off a lift, and he died 2 days later. He had pretty extensive injuries to his head.
Yeah, so these tiles were all were made by John's family and friends, but a lot of them center around really bright colors or really happy, fun things, and a lot of smiles, because John had a really infectious smile.
You know, when he first died, we thought we'd never ski again. We thought we'd never go back to Sugar Bowl again. It was just too painful. I think as time went on, you realize that John loved Sugar Bowl. I mean, it was just one of his favorite places to be.
Being out there, I think maybe closest to him.
I think this accident was a wake-up call in a sense that while our programs are about safety, we have to constantly be progressing and getting better at what we do. And Mark and Helen were instrumental and so impressive in working with the resort through these difficult emotional times to arrive at how we can be better each and every day, not just in chairlift safety, but in safety overall as a sport.
So I think it's wonderful to see the program. It's been actually really rewarding to work with Nicole, for instance, at Sugar Bowl and get these things in place.
We are taking John's legacy and implementing it here at the resort so that the Sugar Bowl community sees it each and every day and remembers John. And even if they didn't know John, they know the impetus behind this chairlift safety program.
I just got word from Espen that Conditions are looking just right in Chamonix and we should be there tomorrow. I start going through my packing list, thinking about what I need, making travel arrangements and getting all my gear together. Everything's happening fast, and I find it easy to catch my mind wandering into the future, dreaming of the adventures ahead, but I gotta stay focused. Preparing for a trip like this is a lifelong process. You can't just wake up one day and decide to conquer the Alps. These trips challenge your mind and body, requiring experience and imagination to prepare for the unknown. I have to recognize dangers in the mountains, understanding weather patterns, knowing when conditions are right, being mentally focused and having confidence in my skill sets. These and many other choices must be realized before carrying out objectives in the mountains. Chamonix, France. It's one of the world's greatest playgrounds for action sports. I travel here multiple times every year to test my skills and spend time with my friends in the valley. The norms here are different. The default level of consequence is much, much higher. With quick access to high altitude objectives, elite athletes can practice their sports day in and day out in the high alpine, glaciated, rugged terrain. It is truly the best training on the globe for big mountain play.
Pretty much I started filming Cody once he started actually progressing in the park. So the better and better he got, and the more views the videos got, it became more appealing to me and more of a hobby. And what really was my favorite was piecing the edits together. I mean, I get worried when I film him, not worried, but don't want him to mess up, but I know he has the right head on his shoulders and won't do something that's out of his abilities. He knows what he can do and he knows where to do it and when to do it. Skiing park, there's, I don't want to say so many things that can go wrong, but you have to take a lot of precautions, more than usual. Even in one run, the snow can change and the speed can change, which means you can case a jump or overshoot it. Another thing to think about when you're filming, and especially follow camming, is speed checking the jump so you can know where you're gonna land and knowing your line through the park. So to add on top of all those things, there's also more filmers in the park that aren't paying attention to their surroundings and are paying attention to the shot. Pretty much it's just another reason to be really, really aware. Skiing, you're like, wow, that's gonna be a really cool shot. And then plugging it into your computer and editing it, wow, that is a really good shot. And then people comment on it and saying that's a good shot just adds more and more stoke to it and is more and more motivation to do it again.
Hey, my name's Darren Rouse. I'm a professional skier from Truckee, California. I got my start in skiing at an early age through my grandfather and father. Now I'm a dad and teaching my son to ski, which is really cool. Dre's old enough now to ski all over the mountain, and he's getting good enough to get into situations where you have to be smart and know what you're getting yourself into. So we take the chair ride up and talk about the terrain, snow conditions, what to look out for, obstacles to avoid, and ultimately to be safe and having fun up there. Another important thing I try and pass on to Dre is like being aware of the signage on the mountain. It's placed there by ski patrol for a reason. If there's a closed sign, don't go there. You know, it's not only illegal, but you could be endangering yourself. Cliff signs. There's a lot of messages out there you can read on your own, but then the signage of the resort really helps out. Yeah, the ultimate goal is to be having fun, but also being safe on the mountain. It's really important for my son and any young kid to follow the right rules and live the ski of the day. It's so awesome to see Dre year after year progress and see his passion for the sport of skiing and his ability grow, and I know it's going to be a huge part of his life, just like it is for me.
Here we are in Chamonix, training for a speed riding descent off Mont Blanc. We are using every bit of our knowledge and all of our skills. It is an intimidating endeavor, but we are confident in our approach and methods.
So right now we're just below the top of Dôme de Gautier, which is the last pre-summit of Mont Blanc.
1 minute. Ready, set, go.
Yo, you see me? I see you. Okay, let's find this together. Okay, you ready for barrel roll? Yep. Woo-hoo!
Accomplishing goals is the ultimate reward. There's nothing like it. But knowing just how unforgiving the mountains can be, we must manage risk and make critical decisions to ensure safe travel in harsh environments.
That was rad.
The most important thing for athletes to set themselves up for success is being aware not only of their environment where they're riding, but also of themselves physically.
These kids are going to be backcountry skiers and they need to stay safe. And if you teach the lessons early, it will last forever.
You're never going to miss out on the latest development from yourself by evaluating the risks, the situation, the quality of the pipe or the jumps, and measuring it against your own ability.
A lot of injuries can be avoided on the mountain by making smart decisions and having the skills and confidence in your ability.
Every highly accomplished mountain man or woman bears the scar of a life-changing experience, be it a lost loved one, a close call, or an injury. It's a strong reminder that the choices we make have a lasting impact on your life and everyone's around you.